So as you can see in this picture, all of the words that we know, whether they're simple words that even small children know, or some of the first words that you learn when you're learning a new language, all words exist in networks of other words and networks of meaning. And this is true of words, but it's also true of how we learn words. We learn words by making connections between that word and other things that we know or we think about or use or do. And so when we're using new vocabulary words, we tend to use the statistic that students need 8 to 10 different exposures to the word in order to learn it. And that doesn't mean seeing the words 8 times on a flashcard. That means doing 8 different things, using different parts of your brain in interaction with that word about 8 different ways before the neural pathways are created and they are trampled down and insulated well enough that they're likely to stay. So you haven't just acquired the word and connected it to things you know, you're likely to retain it so that you can call it up and use it, and also so that you can call it up and use it in strategic ways, that you can think of new meanings or new uses for that word, or think of novel circumstances in which that word might be helpful. So you don't only think of your vocabulary words when you're standing in your vocabulary classroom, or biology words in a biology classroom. You don't only remember your SAT words when you take the SAT, but you actually think about those words other times and in other spaces and places. So we have the idea that you want to create lots of different kinds of connections for each word we're trying to learn and teach these words kind of in networks. That means it takes a pretty big investment of time for each word we want to teach. And that's why we have to be really careful about prioritizing the words that make the biggest impact on students being able to interact successfully with our content. And that doesn't mean we don't define all of the many words that students may not know in a given novel or in their textbook. We define those as they come up, but the words we really invest time in making sure that students acquire and retain and use, we choose a couple of high utility, high impact, high frequency words that come up over and over again to make sure that we teach deliberately and intensively so that students can use those words as a jumping off point to learn many more. That's the beauty of the network. If they know a couple of really key words for your content, they're able to extrapolate from those key words to participate in the conversations and the texts and the discourses that you want them to engage with.